I'm joined on the Young Hollywood sofa by the lovely Emily Mortimer. How are you?
I'm really good.
Good. And we're obviously talking about Hollywood and the craziness of it. Is there a strange experience in Hollywood that sticks out for you? One
oh my God, there have been so many. Well, you were just talking about your dog being so calm because he was on Xanax, which was a joke. Which was a joke.
Just to clarify, it was a joke.
It was reminding me of a story that my a friend of mine who I was at university with came out to LA when I first came out here about 13 years ago. He was here too, and I was just visiting my boyfriend at the time, and now is my husband. But he had a job, he was trying to be a screenwriter, but he had a job dog sitting and house sitting for this family and in Beverly Hills, and they'd gone away, and he had to look after this Doberman Pinscher, and there was a Doberman Pinscher and a potbelly pig. They were the pets, of course.
A real pig?
Yeah.
Okay.
A potbelly pig and a Doberman Pinscher, right?
Only in Hollywood.
But one of his jobs was to give the dog their antidepressants. The dog was on antidepressants because the dog had been going through some sort of depression.
Went for a breakup with the pig.
Yeah. So he gave the dog the antidepressants, went out to the pool and swigged another beer, and then heard this almighty crash in the kitchen, and he went into the kitchen to find the pig snuffling up this bottle of antidepressants that he'd left with the lid wasn't properly screwed on, and the pig had knocked the table, and then the pills had fallen all over the floor, and he came into the kitchen as the pig was like eating the last
absolutely brilliant
pill, and this pig apparently went absolutely berserk and escaped, and he found himself chasing a Vietnamese potbelly pig high on Prozac down Sunset Boulevard at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Can I just say, when I asked for a strange Hollywood story, you just blew me away.
Come on.
Nothing beats that.
Yeah.
If that's not in a show somewhere now, it should be. Doll and M.
Thank
you. Your new show that you've created and you star in.
Yes.
With your best friend.
Yes.
Dolly Wells.
Yes. Dolly.
So tell us how this all came about.
Basically, the whole premise is what happens if you make your best childhood friend your personal assistant, and the answer is a disaster.
Right, which people do in Hollywood.
I know,
I come across it a lot. Yeah, people are like, oh, this is my best friend and my assistant, and you're like, ooh.
Slightly.
How far can you go? Yeah.
Yeah, we got a real kick out of imagining, especially Dolly. The idea of Dolly being my assistant and me employing her was just so excruciating to us and hilarious, because she's the most disorganized person I know, and I am too, but the combination of us together in any kind of working relationship that involved things getting done and being organized was just hilarious. And then just that awful awkward moment, which I think must happen a lot in those relationships where when do you kind of clock on and clock off, and when is it that you're hanging out or working, and when is it there's a moment where the assistant, no matter how friendly you are, has to just sort of quietly back out of the room and let and when does that moment happen? And we just made each other laugh, imagining how horrible it would be. We wanted to out the idea of what it is to be jealous, because I think I think jealousy is such a common emotion that we all feel, but it's one that everybody's so ashamed of, because you hate yourself for feeling it, but you feel it very often towards the people who you love the most and for whom you want the most in life. But then it's quite hard when things go really well. Sometimes for people who you love, for a minute you need to sort of take a breath and not be threatened by it. And I think that there's a lot of it that goes unsaid about that feeling, because we all feel so ashamed of ourselves when we have it. But in a way, it's an exploration of jealousy. I
did feel jealous when you walked in. Your outfit, I was like, oh my God, I should have dressed up more. I'm in a t-shirt and leather jacket, and there's Emily looking stunning.
No.
I had that moment. I can relate. See, we can all relate to that moment.